Okay.
Okay, super. So welcome to the Sit Chat. We have our guest still joining us because of traffic in Bangalore. In the meantime, let me introduce Sit Chat to you guys. I'll need to first share a slide and then show you a small slide, some couple of slides, not just one slide. Uh, the main idea was that we try to give opportunity for people to showcase themselves. That is how the Sit Chat started. And it's been now more than a year where this kind of a chat or an interview is being done every week on Thursday at 8:30. I volunteered to organize this initially, and after that, I came out. Sagar took over, but he had some difficulty. Therefore, I'm chipping in today for Sagar. And this is the Zoom meeting ID. Anybody wants, they can join in every Thursday at 8:30. And we talk about various topics, which could mean something of interest to the startup community or the business community. And of course, the guests who come here are all experts in their own way, but still, it is important that you consult your trusted professionals, advisors, before taking any action on the insight that you get generated during this chat, so that your implementation will be successful and you have somebody to handle. Having said that, today's topic is the story of a Gen AI prodigy, is what the topic is, and that story will be shared by a person by name Shreyas, and he's on his way, stuck in a traffic in Bangalore. By the time he joins us, Ajit can start giving us his background so that he can directly come on, and then I can start the interview with him. Over to you, Ajit. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
thank
And
you. Thank
before
you.
I do that brief introduction about myself, my name is Dinakar. I am a mentor and a coach to companies, to people. Earlier to doing this, I was working in Bosch for 26 years, and I've been mentoring, coaching people, companies for the last 10 years using a methodology called as doHow, which is created by me. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ajit.
Thank you. So, Shreyas was sent to us. Shreyas is from a small town called Shirali near Murdeshwar. Very, very small town. It's 90% farmland, and both his parents are doctors. They are dentists. So what happened was he had a lot of problem in schools, not accepted. His questions were something odd for the teachers. They felt disturbed, and always he had problems. So in seventh standard, he was sent all the way to Bangalore to attend our course, because they came to know that such students are given support. And when we profiled him, we thought his IQ is completely beyond what it should have been in school. So what happened was he 1 whole month he was with us. Then 3 days and 2 nights he came for a leadership camp. He was always different from other kids. But with us, we accept people as they are, respect them as they are. So somehow he started flourishing. And then in eighth standard, he went through a lot of pressures. And you'll be surprised the amount of tension he went through. I had to tell his parents, remove him from school. Otherwise, your child is in trouble. And both of them being doctors, it was very difficult for them to accept this suggestion of mine that he has to be removed from school, because he was undergoing pressure which was unlimited. So finally, I told him, do you want your son or not? Because the pressure he's going through in school, he will have a big problem. Finally, in ninth standard, they removed him. Because so then I said, hey, this itself is a proof that you can't be a gunk. You are not something which is to be left like this. So, I introduced to him certain people, and they were supposed to start a large project. Somebody was ready to invest in him. But then again, in India, to start any venture for a teenager is very difficult. And then he got cheated, and all sorts of things happened because he's from a small place. And finally, he came across one person in Baroda who has given him in charge, looking at his work, given him in charge. And within a year's time, he got a patent for some new discovery which he has done. And now he's a champion in AI. Many engineers report to him. and you'll be surprised. The type of ideas he gets, the type of suggestion he gives is something out of the world. So these prodigies have no place in the schools and colleges. Now, he found out that he is much better than the engineers. So he applied for BSc in IIT Madras. But unfortunately, they said you're not at 10th standard. So he has come to Bangalore now to do that NIOS 10th standard. He is giving that exam. So it's a very sad case that, there are some systems in our, and he doesn't have to study because his brain has absorbed so much that for him everything is a cakewalk. But what to do? Certain systems, it's like a passport, a degree. Tomorrow he wants to do anything, he has to have a degree. Otherwise, even to get a loan is a big problem. To get a license to start his own industry is a problem. So that is what he was going through. And suddenly somebody in Baroda picked him up, and now he's in Baroda managing a vertical of that company. And he's simply growing and doing a lot of things. He's come out with a lot of research and development, and generative AI is using in a very big way. And I'm sure very soon he's going to reach heights Shreyas has come. So yeah, Shreyas, good evening. I was filling the gap talking about you.
I'm so sorry for the delay. There was a massive traffic jam.
Yeah. With rains in Bangalore and evening time, no, this time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Dinakar, floor is yours.
Yeah, no problem at all. Shreyas, welcome. Nice that I'm seeing you. We'll meet up sometime next week, like I said.
Absolutely.
First of all, Shreyas,
Hmm.
what really gives you the kick? Is it coding? Is it investigating? Is it finding a solution? Is it solving problems, puzzles? What gives you the kick? Let me start with that.
It is more or less about, uh, you're changing the world, right? Generative AI is taking the world by a storm. We're doing research, to put it in simple, straight words, what gives me the kick is knowing that my research is going to change the way the world thinks about something.
And what would that be? When you say thinks about something, about what? What comes to your mind?
When I say thinks about something, what comes to my mind is majorly how AI can be used. How will life change? See, generative AI is going to be the next computer moment. You know, when computers were new or were really new, people were very scared of it, right? As they are today of AI, right? They think they're going to replace humans. They think of quite a few possibilities that can occur with generative AI. ChatGPT is one of the examples of generative AI, the pinnacle, as a matter of fact. So, hello, am I audible?
Yes. Continue.
Okay.
Yeah. As of now.
Yeah. So as of now, what really is giving me the kick, or what I think is really going to change the way the world works is when generative AI gets integrated into every part of our life itself will change. What we think is
I think
normal
that's very true.
will not be the normal.
Very, very, very true. But how did you get into Gen AI? What made you get into this space?
Well, when I when I started working under I don't have an official degree of sorts, right?
Yeah,
The people who I
Shreyas,
was
if you
working
want,
under
just
were
hold on.
the
Just hold on. If you want, you can switch off your video. The bandwidth is very low, so possibly the sound will also improve. You can switch off your video. Yeah, please go on.
Okay. So I got into generative AI because the people I was working with are the path bearers of generative AI today. And that's whom I learned from, right? I've been working with generative AI way before ChatGPT and such stuff were known to public. With the architecture, with the theoretical, with the research papers that were published. So I've been working with it for almost 3 years.
That means you are somebody who would read and then after that try to applicate. Is that what I understand? Or is it that
Could you repeat?
how do you see? You said research paper that had been published. That means you went on doing research on your own, or how did it happen that you came across AI or came across computer programming? What's the background there?
See, I started off, I knew Python programming at 7. My mother had bought me a book, Computer Programming for Kids and Other Beginners, right? That's where I learned my initial coding skills from. Then, as I grew up, school pressures and so on and so forth, I had lost my touch. And
Uh-huh.
then just before COVID lockdown, I decided, you know what, why not reignite it?
Mhm.
And that was when I was being coached through by Mr. Ajit under Buoyancy. I was running a program.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please go
yeah,
on.
we can hear.
And that is when that is when my curiosity started really sparking, and I got involved in dev communities. And that is basically how I learned. I did other people's work for free.
Okay. Using language learning models, is it,
Large
or was it
language
more to do
models.
with large learning models, or was it more to do with machine learning using data sets and trying to forecast what's going to come next?
That is time series forecasting. That is the very, that is the grassroots stuff. That is the basic stuff.
Uh-huh.
That is how you go on to more advanced stuff like large language models. That is how you learn the complexities of it.
Okay. For a layman like me, can you explain what AI and Gen AI is all about?
Gen AI, I'll put it in simple words, right? Till date, what is my, let's take a simple example. This restaurant X, right? How will you know how good the restaurant is? With ratings, with people's reviews, right? That is the only source of information for you, a number, right? Now, for a computer, a number can mean many things, but for a human, a number does not mean a lot,
Mhm.
right? The only thing it can give you is an estimation between how good and how bad it is,
Mhm.
right? That is the most amount of information you can infer out of a number. What
Correct.
generative AI is going to bring is bring dynamic word processing to the mix, in the sense
Mhm.
there is generative AI is going to shift the world of computers from numbers to letters.
Mhm.
Computers today are a black box, even for software developers, right?
Mhm.
And now what LLMs and what AI is going to do is convert that black box into an open box where
Mhm.
people can freely interact in natural language, in English, with a computer,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
So
So it's
it
like
is
talking
really
to
going to
computers.
change the way we look at the world. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It will be like talking to a computer
That's really
because
fascinating.
things need exactly things need not be set in stone. Today in code, things need to be set in stone for them to work. In AI, things can be as dynamic as you want it to be because it can
Uh-huh.
understand the language, right?
But there also must be a code behind that, right? Or there won't be any code, or will there
There
be
is
a
a
code
lot
behind?
of code.
Lot
There
of
is a
code. Okay.
lot of code behind it. Massive amounts of code behind it. But the LLM has more to do with the training data that is used behind it, right? What an
Correct.
LLM is really doing, or what your AI models are doing, is practically predicting patterns in your language,
Okay.
right? So let's say, just imagine a little baby, right? Baby just got born, and it's the first thing it does is listens to you,
Mhm.
right? If you swear in front of the baby is going to learn swear words,
Mhm.
right? At the same time, if you act very encouragingly, you give out a very positive aura, and you speak well in front of the baby, it's going to grasp that, right?
Correct.
So if you repeat Mary has a little lamb 100 times in front of the baby over a period of an year, when it learns to speak, it will the moment you say Mary, it will say Mary has a little lamb,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct. So
Because
it
it
already
knows
knows
the
what you're. Yeah.
exactly it knows the pattern of speech. That is
Correct.
exactly where AI is at.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds quite interesting and intriguing also.
It is the cutting edge of the world today.
Ah, now you are working on something which possibly a person at the age of 24, 25 would start doing. And how do your age friends or your acquaintances uh, take that? What is their reaction?
And most of them don't even understand what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Because see, I'll put it this way, right? out of the whole populace of India, right? I'll say, and this is not like a boast, but this is practical truth, right? Out of the crores of people that live in India and the lakhs of people that get educated in your colleges, right? There, and out of them, the number of people who know generative AI truly and can work on it and can build on it, maybe 50.
Yeah, the 50
Wow.
would be more.
Even lesser.
I feel it will be more. You are possibly being very, very magnanimous. I don't think there will be more than 10, in my opinion. Because if you look at it, see, I come from a very, should I say, a conservative background, and I'm pretty tough on understanding what people can do and what people cannot do. So, considering that uh, scale of assessment, I would imagine it would be around 10 to 20 people. That's all, not more than that,
Oh,
who can
yes.
really understand what it is. Not
Absolutely.
even 50. And
Absolutely.
you tell me, see, when you get into this space, I'm sure you must be feeling a lot of satisfaction and gratification in doing such uh, what should I say, state of the art work. And where do you think the GenAI will take us? Because there is a lot of discussion about employment going down with Gen AI, a lot of discussion about jobs getting shifted. What is your take on that?
My take is fairly simple, right? Let's go one step back and to that age where computers were new, right? Same conversations were happening then as well, if you remember, right?
Yeah,
Ki all jobs will be gone, computers going to take over everything, and computers were looked at. Some people looked at them as the salvation, and some people looked at them as the demon,
yeah,
right? Same thing is happening now. A part of people look at AI as that AI is going to take over humanity and then it's going to be the reason why humanity will cease to exist. And some people look at it as, okay, it is the new salvation, it is the new tomorrow. It
Hmm.
is the same paradigm that has come forward.
Yeah. But in a way, I don't know whether it is the same or not, because in the case of
Hello?
computers, yeah. Can you hear me? Hello, are you there?
Did you get cut off?
I don't know. Did we lose you, Shreyas?
Just
He's there. He's there.
let me change let me change my network. Just give me a second. I
Yeah.
don't know what.
He's used to all this because in Shirali, sitting in a village, he used to connect all over the world,
Hmm.
learning from people,
All right.
teaching people, connecting.
Yeah, there you are. You know, I was telling that, look, in the case of computers and whatever happened with the computers, it was basically uh, making some repetitive tasks. It was automating some repetitive tasks, making these repetitive tasks easier. Whereas with the case of Gen AI, you are creating an intelligence which can duplicate a human being, right? And
Yes.
the next thing is, today you have a code which is using the large LLM language models as a kind of a database for getting the Gen AI, and getting into Gen AI for generating the text or answers. It is using a large language model, and that's some kind of a data set with notations and things like that. But what happens if suppose the time comes when through all this the Gen AI is able to already alter its code only, alter its source code. That means from whatever it learns, it is able to alter the source code. Do you think that day is not far from now?
So let me put it this way. This technique is called reinforcement learning. It is already applied today. But the thing is, there is no such thing as a source code for the large language model, right? A large language model is not a source code. A large language model is a very, very large tensor. Tensor is basically, to put it in simple words, it is a very, very large numeric. It's a very big number.
Mhm.
Okay, it is a very big, or rather a very big representation of numbers across multiple digital dimensions.
Mhm.
So even the smallest large language model or SLMs, the small language models we call it, even they have about 100, 150 GB, worth of tensor data. That is what they are powered with. Now, what happens as we go on training the model, it alters its own tensor data to match the patterns that we are showing it. And that is how it understands the pattern between all this.
See, I remember a guy who was
right? So if I were to
please
put
go
it in simple words, if I were
Yeah,
to
please
put
go
it
on.
in simple words, I don't see AI being the the destructor that the people think it is going to be. Even if we assume a doomsday scenario where the AI is able to evolve just like humans did once upon a time, right? And that evolution is going to be extremely fast. Even then, AI will not be able to defeat the human intelligence. The only difference is we are not preparing for that age. See, try and grasp this. Try and grasp this, right? AI was expected to be something else, turned out to be something else. That is exactly what has happened with it. What humans were expecting or what companies were expecting AI would do is कि laborious scut work, right? जैसे कि एक warehouse manage करना या एक गाड़ी चलाना, it's all laborious scut work. It is all if else kind of logic. अगर बक्सा इतने हाइट पे है तो इसको ऐसे उठाओ, अगर इतने हाइट पे है तो इसको ऐसे उठाओ, अगर इधर है तो ये करो, अगर उधर है तो वो करो, right? We had expected AI to do this cut work, but what AI turned out to be is generative. It turned out to automate creativity. Right? Now, all these AI models you see, Mid-Journey, ChatGPT, they are all creating content.
Yes,
they are
very much.
replicating a pattern. They are not telling you what they were trained on. They are replicating that pattern across everything else. Right? But there is one fundamental flaw with all AI models today, which is that they do not know what they are talking about.
That awareness is not there.
It's not about the awareness really. How I would put it as is, suppose you have an AI model, you're speaking to ChatGPT, right? You can easily fool it into believing that 1 + 1 is 11 and not 2. Why
And if
can you do that?
that is the basis of your LLM, then it will repeat the same thing.
Exactly. An LLM is like a very big superhuman parrot.
Correct.
In Kannada, there's this thing called Sarvajna. The guy who knows everything, right? दोहे लिखे जाते हैं उसके बारे में. This is exactly what we thought of as Sarvajna, a very large parrot who remembers a lot of stuff. Right? Now, this might seem interesting or insulting to large language models, but then this is the truth.
Yeah, and I think that is the place where the whole concept of ethics stems out. Because if you look at some of the movies where they depict robots not behaving morally or ethically like a human being, I think that's where it stems out of. Because the training for that machine is based on some set of data which may not have had these basics like you are explaining, and therefore it would not replicate that at all. And it depends on what kind of what should I say, data set you are using to train that particular system. And if the data set what you're using, like you said, says that 1 + 1 is equal to 11, then it will do that as the base. It won't really think about 1 + 1 being 2. And that's where the difference is. And that point, I don't know whether it makes sense in somebody really getting so carried away that, because now you're talking about articulation, talking about language. Because if you look at our human intellect, we understand only through the language. Without the language, we would be as good as any animal, right? Because only numbers will not make sense to us. So this language is the one that made sense to us in the way we know what we are today. So if that basically is done in a huge, massive number, where the base for doing that is not something which is correct, then it could influence the entire population, isn't it? They're really mind-boggling.
See, I would rather put it this way, right? Why do we know 1 + 1 is 2? Why do I as a human being know 1 + 1 is 2? मेरे सामने एक सेब था, that is 1. 2 सेब आ गए, that is 2. I can see 2 apples in front of me, that's why I know 1 + 1 is 2.
Correct.
Right? But how will you make an LLM understand that?
You can't.
The only thing, you can't, you absolutely can't. Which is why LLMs are very bad at logic.
Yeah.
Which is why I told you, even even if you look at ChatGPT as a whole, I can very easily in 3 messages convince it that 1 plus 1 is 11, because
Yeah.
it cannot understand why 1 plus 1 is 2 and not 11.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
वो एक बहुत बड़ा तोता है, and it needs to be treated that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Shreyas, let me also ask anybody else who wants to ask anything to Shreyas. I did my quota. I'll come back later. Anybody wants any?
Shreyas, what precaution today's youth should take? See, everybody is continuing with the same routine stuff. So, what do you suggest today's youth should do to be prepared for tomorrow?
It's very simple actually, right? आज का जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, या आज the what is being taught today is going to be utterly irrelevant. Simple thing है, okay? You have, let's say, Moore's law, right? What is Moore's law? Moore's law is that as semiconductor chips get smaller and smaller, their power usage goes half and their computational power doubles, right? This is all theory. An LLM is much better than a human being at theory. Where an LLM fails is when theory meets practice. A human can only defeat AI when he knows what he is good at and he excels and practices what he is good at to be the best at it. रट्टा मारो knowledge is going to have no value tomorrow because एक LLM आपसे बेहतर रट्टा मार लेगा.
So, what do you think the student should do today? If you can suggest something.
The student should focus on practical application. The student should focus on why, what I am by hearting, what are its real world implications, right? Everybody knows Newton's third law of motion. Na? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What does that mean in the real world? अगर मैं ChatGPT को पूछूंगा what does every action has an equal and opposite reaction mean in the real world, the most it can give me is a code that was written by some other human. It cannot natively explain to me why every action has an equal and why every action has an opposite reaction. You know, when it comes to application, when it comes to a deep understanding of what it is, expertise is going to be valued. Mediocrity is not going to be valued. That is the difference. Now, I think we were having this conversation earlier with Ajit ji, that intelligence is going to be valueless, intellect is going to be valued a lot.
Yeah, I think what you said is quite interesting. It rings a bell. Today, if you see, there are a lot of people in this world who somehow get away with not knowing anything at all, just because of coincidence, or they're able to fool around, etc. What you say is something which is interesting. So, in the future, for you to be successful, you need to have hands-on experience. You need to have hands-on expertise. It's not just about being able to reproduce whatever somebody told you, because the machine can do that much better than the human beings, right?
Exactly.
So our examinations should be more application oriented. Knowledge is what they should test, not the memory power. It's a very interesting thought. That's why I intervened. So fantastic, it is fantastic, and I think that's the future. And I'll write an article on that this Sunday. And that really is a very thought provoking topic. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah. Please go on, Sharon.
No, I just want to add, I don't think practice makes a man perfect. It would be rather than how effectively you have practiced is what would actually be more, rewarding in the sense. If I have done work, the same work 10 years or 20 years, it doesn't make any sense that I would be more knowledgeable about it. But if I have done it in an effective and productive way is what would actually make me more better in it.
No, but I think what you are telling, I just wanted to add to that. Moment you are able to emphasize, that's what I think Shreyas also was meaning. Moment you are able to say that I want to excel in what I'm doing, I want to be the best, which means you are doing something to either satisfy yourself or to satisfy somebody else who could be a stakeholder. So if you are able to constantly create delight either to yourself or somebody else whom you are serving, and that only happen because the moment you serve somebody, whatever you did today becomes a standard for the next day. So you have to do something better. So if your passion is to make sure that I'm constantly delighting all my stakeholders, including myself, then expertise gets built up, and that's where you become a master in what you're doing. And what I understood was, if suppose you are that, then you have a great future. Otherwise, machine can repeat. from memory.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
See, what we see as things that don't have demand today will have the highest demand tomorrow. Simple example है, right? Bachelors in literature बहुत लोग होंगे, right? लेकिन bachelors in literature को कितना demand है? In corporate jobs today, not a lot. In AI, it has the highest demand because how will you teach an AI how to converse? You need to know the intricacies of a language, the technicality of a language. Sanskrit is a technical language. Why? Because it is bound by certain rules. See where I'm going with this? Right? What we see today has the least demand will have tomorrow the most demand.
It's a cycle. It goes up and down.
It's a cycle. It is a cycle. Language will have the most demand. Art will have the highest demand because that is how creativity is something that you need to teach an AI. It intrinsically comes to a human being, but it needs to be taught to an AI model. Art is going to have a lot of demand. Literature is going to have a lot of demand. Software is going to have a lot of demand, but not mediocre. Expertise, absolute expertise in software is going to have a massive amount of demand. Right? Scut work is labor, like human intensive labor is going to have a lot of demand because I don't see in the near future robots building a house. I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
AI
may
is
not
not
be
going
the
to be able to
robot,
power
but
robots.
may not be the robot, but there are other technologies, right? Now, I'm not trying to counter you, but instead of robots, there are 3D house printing machines, wherein
Of course.
it's a different technology. It's not a robot, but a different name for that. But still, you can build a house automatically.
Yes. But where I was going with is that where we see AI, where we thought AI would go is not where AI is going. It is taking a completely different direction, right? The earlier the world gets prepared for it, the better it is going to be for everybody. Simple thing. Just check out GPT 4.0, right? They had a voice mode demo, right? On YouTube. You'll see it speaks so effortlessly that you will not be able to differentiate whether it's a human speaking or an AI speaking. Right? AI is already at that level. That AI is already at that stage. Imagine where it will be in the next 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Laws will need changing. Ethics is going to matter. Morals are going to matter. Guardrails and security is going to have a lot of demand.
Correct.
But most
And
importantly,
especially,
communication.
Yeah.
Communication is going to have the highest amount of demand because मैं इंसान से बात करूँ या ना करूँ, AI को तो मेरा point समझाना पड़ेगा ना.
Yeah, correct. And another thing which also possibly is equally scary is see today if you look at the hacking is being done by humans by looking at all possible combinations and then what should I say? So you develop programs where you look at all possible combinations and at some point of time you are able to create a breakthrough and you are able to enter a system. So imagine if the AI models are applied there. You just like in the chat GPT, you say enter the Indian Parliament portal, then possibly it will take about 2 to 3 hours to really look at all combinations of passwords and passcodes and letters and all that, and it can at some point of time get in there, isn't it? Would that be
Well,
something
that
a
is not,
possibility?
that is, no, I don't see that as a possibility because generative AI is creative. It is not repetitive.
It's
It
not
is
repetitive.
built to be creative, right?
Okay.
You can have generative AI do that, but that is not that you can also do by traditional coding, and traditional coding is far cheaper than using an AI
Generative
model
AI.
to do it,
Correct.
right? See, AI has a niche use case, and when used in that use case, only then AI will have value. For businesses especially, सब कुछ AI में डाल देना या सब कुछ के लिए AI इस्तेमाल करना is not justified use of AI, right? Efficiency matters. Efficiency के लिए अगर AI जरूरी है तो ठीक है. अगर efficiency के लिए AI जरूरी नहीं है, normal programming से हो सकता है, तो AI के लिए मत जाओ.
You should do that. Correct. It will be much cheaper and much easier to do. That's right.
Exactly. It is.
Anybody else have any question to Shreyas? Is it because of AI or is it because of Shreyas being so young that all of us are a little hesitant? In either case, we should basically come forward, in my opinion. Yeah, you got here, Hemant. You're also a geek. Please go on. Then you have got uh, who else is there? Abhishek. Then you have got our Sumit. I don't know Sumit. Hemant. You want to ask anything, Hemant?
No, I'm good, Dinkar. I I mean, I think on the same channel. Uh, the way Shreyas is saying, I totally agree with him. And at this point in time, don't have any questions for him.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Hemant. Thank
sure,
you.
sure.
Shreyas, how do you now? Let's talk about something totally different. What is your pastime actually? One is your GenAI is what you do as a passion. Is that your pastime too, or you have got some other hobbies to what people normally say as chilling out? And the way you're talking, possibly generating GenAI, working on GenAI itself could be chilling out for you. But still, I ask this question: do you have anything else other than GenAI for chilling out?
Of course, I am a practitioner of Indian classical music. I
Uh-huh.
have मैंने एक बंदिशी रियाज किया है 3 साल तक.
सुनाइए सुनाइए सर, सुनाइए थोड़ा.
अब मीटिंग पे शायद नहीं, लेकिन कभी फिजिकली मिलेंगे तो जरूर सुनाऊंगा.
बढ़िया बात, थैंक यू सो मच.
Yeah,
So
go on, share it.
that is,
Yeah, classical music. Yeah, then
I am, yes. So classical music is what keeps my mental sanity in place. Rather, because see, everybody needs a way of expression, right?
yeah,
You're in anger, you're sad, you're happy, you're moody, however you are, right? You need to put it out so that you get it out of your system, right? And
Mhm.
return back to neutral state. At least that's what I believe. So music helps me vent, music helps me express.
Mhm.
So that is how I look at classical music.
Okay, okay. Anything else apart from that which you practice or do regularly, or which gives you kind of for entertainment, for relaxing, or whatever?
I introspect.
Introspect. Okay.
See, speaking to an AI model is like looking at yourself in a mirror.
Yeah.
At one point, the AI model will know you so well that it'll start looking like you're looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
So it is better to talk to yourself than look at yourself, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
it brings a sense of calm, and it gives you a level of focus in life in general.
Yeah.
So I like to
Yeah.
introspect. I spend most of my time introspecting on my actions.
Okay.
Sh-
Does
uh, sh-
that give you?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, Shreyas, with your age, you may be facing the difficulty, like, people who are elder to you probably would be reporting. Do you face that difficulty? How do you overcome that?
It is quite simple. When I see the company that I'm a consultant to in Baroda since almost 2 years, the biggest problem was people don't accept me because they are like, मैं 30 साल का हूँ, मैंने I have 10 years worth of experience in tech. I've got 15 years worth of experience in tech. What will an 18-year-old, how will an 18-year-old lead? They have an ego problem most of the times. But then when they realize that absolutely it's an ego problem, when they realize ki, okay, he's got something, he knows quite a few things, and then his techniques are effective, they simply stop doing that and start listening, and then that's how it works out.
See, I think I also wanted to just add to whatever he said. Rina, it was right who asked the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that anybody can be able to persuade others with because of 4 reasons. First reason is that you're master, you're good, you're damn good, you're really good, you're an expert. That is one reason. Then people will follow you. Second is because you are having a charisma. It's like when many of the film stars, you just come there, there is glowing face, and so it just attracts people. That is something which is inborn. You can't really duplicate. You can't clearly learn that. And next one is you got a power. That means you have some seat. Somebody told you that you are the president or you are the chair, prime minister, whatever it is. Therefore, people respect that chair. Therefore, you get some amount of ability to persuade. And the fourth is consistency. consistency. That means you're able to do something consistently. Hearing to what Shreyas is telling, I think he's one expert, then is consistency, both together. That's a very dangerous combination. If you are really an expert and you are able to deliver and do something consistently, then that is a tremendously strong
Yes.
persuader, irrespective of the age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because
Reena, I'll tell you, I
Hmm.
took Shreyas to a college,
Okay.
and that time he was 14 years old, Shreyas?
Yeah,
Yes,
13, 14, yeah.
13. He
Hmm.
was 13 years old, and the dean was looking down, what is this boy? After his talk, which was for more than an hour, she wanted photograph with him, autograph it. Are you getting the picture? It's a question of once he opens his mouth, then the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
Whatever questions the student were asking, all of some of them doing BCA and all. But what he was talking was completely, they got shocked.
Yeah.
13-year-old, when I took him to a college. And one question, he is here for about another 15 days. If somebody can organize his talks in college, I think students will really gain. I've already booked him for 3 colleges.
Oh.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
yeah,
Because
we
to
can definitely do that.
see, the whole point is generative AI does people think that generative AI is going to have an impact in computing? Well, that's not exactly true. Generative AI is going to affect every aspect of our life, from where we drive to what we eat to how we work, because it will create a replica of your mindset. That can be dangerous, that can be interesting, that can be helpful. It has many implications. Then again, somebody asked in the chat, Abhishek ji, do you feel that GenAI will help in physical security of people and assets in the future? I don't feel that GenAI will help in physical security, but I am sure that GenAI will help in digital security. Ensuring that the right help and the right data meets the right people is a very important responsibility. Google is not effectively able to fulfill that. I think GenAI will be able to fulfill that gap.
You mean because of the language ability of the GenAI?
Barriers. Yes,
And
absolutely. See,
because
it's a simple,
GenAI, yeah,
it's a
GenAI
simple
would be able
question.
to would be able to interpret your request in multiple ways, which Google can't. Google only sees black and white.
Exactly. And then second thing they asked is, will it help to maintain research and generate natural resources? It may. There's no definite answer that I can give you. It may help, but it is going to be more on the side of, it is going to be an aid to humans. It's not going to be that's what I told you. Generative AI sucks at decision making. It cannot take a decision. It cannot be decisive. A human has to take a decision. The generative AI will educate the human on taking the correct decision, but at the end of the day, there is always going to be a human that will take the decision. So I hope with the power of knowledge, it will be able to research and generate natural resources.
No, it could also be, I think, a very, very strong tool. And that's where I've been very excited. It could be an outstanding tool for providing a platform for people to reflect through a guided dialogue.
Absolutely.
If you look at a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever it is, there you are trying to express your feelings, and then the psychiatrist or psychologist is asking you something. You are sharing some wisdom or some experience, and the Gen AI could be a fantastic commoditization of that extremely highly expensive service today.
Absolutely. It is already quite able to do the job. In the private previews that I've seen of OpenAI, it is very effectively, it is, I'll put it this way. I'm not going to name anybody, but ChatGPT 4.0 with voice mode has saved a person from suiciding
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, correct. Absolutely.
because of a
Absolutely.
divorce. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was a close colleague of mine, and I discovered it through a private preview of OpenAI. But it is very
yeah.
effective, and yes, it does work. because an AI is far better at detecting your cues, detecting, intricacies of the human mind, or, quirks of the human mind much better than a human.
And more consistently, more
More
consistently. For
consistently,
example,
absolutely.
if you're talking about sentiment analysis, let us say there's a video and I'm talking, I can be telling something at the same time I'm being sarcastic, and the concept of sarcasm may not really be understood by a computer, right? So if I'm
Absolutely,
trying to
absolutely.
tell something nice, but my face looks not so good, then the Gen AI or the computer can get a cue that look, this guy is trying to fool me, which we also do, but then we don't recognize that consciously. But it's really quite a.
Let me try and tell you the absolute.
Yeah,
Hello.
please go on. Yeah, please go
Let
on.
me
Please
try
go on.
and tell you the absolute limit of what GenAI has done. Right. I have seen cases where a woman has had a conversation with the AI, and a man has had a conversation with the AI, and the AI at the end of the conversation has effectively been able to use the correct pronoun for the person without knowing that whether the person he's speaking to is another woman.
Because of the tone, or is it because of the way of expressing? It must be
It is
the
it
both.
is because it is because of the AI knowing how a human speaks, how language works.
Yeah, correct.
Right? A
Awesome.
woman is always
Awesome.
going to express herself differently than a man would express himself.
Correct.
Of course, there is always the fact that every human expresses themselves differently, but there is always going to be a difference in how the genders express.
Yeah, that's true.
If AI is
Okay.
able to understand that just with the help of text, imagine what it can do when it can analyze videos. It can already analyze videos, but imagine what it can do when its capabilities far exceed the ones that we currently have.
Absolutely. It can, in fact, convincingly tell you that you don't do this job, whether it is required or not, or will convincingly tell you that you should take a decision in this direction. But the decide will be that of the human being. The Gen AI may not decide.
Yes.
See, Shreyas, one. Yeah, please go on.
See, there is only one way today where we can make generative AI decide something. That is by creating a matrix and then scoring it, and based on the scores, whichever gets the highest marks, you
Correct.
select that. Right?
Some kind of
But then that is not how a human decides. Right? No research paper till date has ever given a better way to take a decision than this one.
But then again,
Which is why I told you that generative cannot take a decision.
See, I may be digressing a little. Have you heard of fuzzy logic?
Yes, absolutely.
Fuzzy logic. See, there is a company called as fuzzy.de, fuzzy.de. This was the pre-Gen AI era, pre-machine learning era, wherein they have been deploying models. He used to tell me that the three principles were fuzzy logic, then Boolean algebra, again to talk about 1 and 0, and after that, the operational research maximization function and queuing theory. So these are the four principles used, and this company is called as fuzzy.de. You can research on the Google, on the internet, and they have a product called as Precision. I'm talking about early 2000. Okay, so this particular software was deployed in many banks in Germany. That means when a customer would go to the counter, the software would tell them to give a hint to the cashier there of three possibilities. One is you can give the money without checking the signature because of the customer face, that the photo of it would take the photo and do some photo recognition, whatever it is. And the second was that you need to consult your manager. And the third was that you can request the customer to go back. These were the three options in the banking sector. Then they had used the same model for scheduling in many automotive industries. Scheduling is a very complex topic, which is not language driven, but definitely has a lot of parameters to be considered, which is mainly some kind of an iterative search of the most optimum solution. And that is where it was being used. And in the automotive sector, for visual inspection. It could detect. I'm talking about 2000, not today's world. Today you have got the cameras which can do through machine learning identify which is a good part and a bad part. In those days, nothing of that kind was there. So I don't know. Maybe you should look at that. Fuzzy.de.
Actually, as a matter of fact, I'll just an FYI thing. Fuzzy logic is something that we use very extensively, okay,
In
to identify
GenAI.
and fix in fixing data sets. You know,
Yeah.
it is the most commonly used technique to ensure that the data set does not have any bias.
Correct.
See, what can an AI be trained on? An AI has to be trained on human conversation. The moment we say human conversations have a bias. When that bias is put into the AI, that bias gets exponentially huge.
Yeah.
So if one conversation or one message had a racially, discerning thing written in it, that is going to be exponentially gratified in the AI model.
Yeah.
So to prevent all that, fuzzy logic is used almost on a commoditized. It is used very क्या बोलते हैं? It's used a lot.
Very
Let me put
commonly.
it that way. It's
Very
used very
commonly.
commonly, exactly. Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Correct.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
fuzzy logic was the precursor to all this.
Yeah, absolutely. See, Race, as we come closer to the 1 hour slot which we had planned, I want to ask you something from your perspective. See, there is a lot of talk about India becoming the global power and things like that. And a lot of people believe that the AI wisdom in India or the AI cracks like you are the ones who would dominate the world and make India dominate the world. What is your take on that? How is the competence in terms of when we spoke about the people who are capable of really working on Gen AI in India could be about 10, 20. How does it look like in the other countries? Are we better than them, or are we on par with other countries? And what
We
do
are
you
much
think would be the
worse. We are much worse.
worst?
If we look at it in a queue now, US will be the first, Europe will be second, Africa can be third, India will be last.
Oh, really? Okay. And no, don't
Oh
worry
yes.
about the total number. No, I'm not talking about the percentage of the population which is
Yes,
doing
yes,
it.
I'm talking
Just
about
look at the
understanding. See,
absolute
I'll
numbers
put
itself.
it this way. Right? India mein, there's no knowledge for hunger. Sorry, there's no hunger for
They
knowledge.
hunger for knowledge.
Exactly. Because of what? Because of that, what is happening is mediocrity is something that is being adopted in India.
Yes.
Right? Education system has not changed since the Britishers era, because of which people will not be able to adapt when AI comes. AI is going to be the new reality in 5 years. Take it from me.
Absolutely.
I have seen the kind of AI models. I have seen the kind of AI models that you can possibly never think of.
Yeah. So it's quite
Today's AI
interesting.
models, if see, there are things that I cannot reveal, but let me put it in one sentence, right? If you look at today's models, and if you look at what I have seen, even today's most smartest models still look like puppets.
Understand. Yeah, Abhishek, you had a point to
What
make.
are
Please go on.
Yeah, sir, what I could understand from the discussion Shreyas explained, the operational things, the decision making would be difficult for a AI world, but the conversational, the knowledge thing will be very easy. I can think of an analogy where we used to do a DOS programming in the beginning, and then from there we came to Windows, then lot of versions of Windows. It was a continuous improvement leading to Google, and now the Google search engine is also giving us a AI summary of our search parameters. So similarly, things have been improving, but will some point come in future that the operational things or the decision making things will also be done by AI? Do you see that it is going in that direction through this continuous improvement cycle?
For my own safety, I will not answer that question.
Pardon?
But I think you can understand what I try to mean.
Yeah, so I think yes, Abhishek, I can possibly tell from my experience what I've seen in many companies. whenever it comes to a repetitive decision making, where the variables are not many, you can go up to, let's say, 5 to 6 variables which you're considering for a decision making. There are models where the computer is already taking a decision and then initiating an actuator to do a particular activity. That would be a automation, your industry automation or process automation or whatever it is. But when it comes to a very complex problem with multiple multiple uh, multiple factors
Inputs
to be
or
considered. Multiple
constraints.
factors to be considered. For example, you want to decide whether you like a girl or not. Okay. So such a decision, I don't think we'll ever be able to take, at least in the next couple of decades. Whether
But it is
Abhishek
about
likes a
scaling
girl or
up.
not.
It is about
It's about
scaling up.
scaling up.
Like,
Scaling up,
yeah.
and also to understand. See, in the human mind, these influencing factors continuously keep evolving. They are never constant. That evolution is based on each mind. It is not the same, right? So there to really generalize and come up with some solution will be extremely difficult.
Abhishek, let me put this dilemma to an end once and for all. Okay. I'll ask you a question. I want you to try and answer it.
Mhm.
Okay. How do you think what you think?
How do I think what I think?
I think. Yes.
That's the point
मैं
which
कैसे
AI can
सोच रहा हूँ कि
never
मैं
reach.
नो 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 ट्राई एंड आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन ना मैं कैसे सोचता हूँ कि मैं क्या सोचता हूँ what is the process
It's
that my
about,
brain uses to think about what I want to think
it's a multiple of chemistry, physics in my brain going on in coordination with the body.
नहीं नहीं process explain कीजिए reason I'm see there is no let me put it to a test there is no defined answer to this and it cannot be defined
Mhm.
because our brain does not work in a 0-1 binary cycle right you just like
Mhm.
humans cannot define how a human thinks same way that is the whole reason why we cannot teach an AI how to think like a human. The most we can
Mhm.
do is imitate a brain. AI is called neural network. A neural network is imitation of how the brain works in code. We have neurons, we have nodes firing at each other, states changing, and that's how a neural network model thinks, right? Then there are CNNs, RNNs. I'll not go into the tech of it, but from a philosophical or from a implication perspective, because humans are incapable of explaining how they think, you will equally or similarly not be able to teach the AI how to think,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
See, you don't know why you know something that you know. I'm not making up questions. These are all written in research papers. Try and
No,
read
but
the
based on the
VIT research paper that
experience,
was
what
published by Google.
so based on the experience what we have in our lives, like I have a experience in the beginning that if I put a finger in an electric plug, I'm going to get a shock. That happened within 2 years of my life when I was 2 years, 3 years. So that experience has created a memory in my brain, and now I use that experience to not put the finger. So similarly, AI
But
also does the experience
but but
from the
but hold
life
on there. You gave me
from.
a very good paradigm there.
Mm,
You gave me a very good paradigm there. Hold on a second. Right? You remember that as a kid you put your finger in a plug point and then you got shocked. And that's how you know that next time when I put my finger in a plug point, I should not do that. Because if not, I'll get shocked and I'll get hurt. Right? How will you explain to AI or how will you make AI put its finger in a plug point and experience getting hurt? Chalo, I'll strip it down even simpler, right? You remember your experience, right? How do you remember your experience? Do you remember it like a video? No. Do you remember it like an emotion? No. Do you remember what it felt like? If yes, then how do you remember what it felt like? It is a simple question, really. It is a very simple
But
question that nobody has an answer to.
if I write down my experience and give it to AI, and he reads and he learns, that's what he can do.
No, he can only repeat your experience.
He cannot
He cannot
re-experience.
repeat my experience. He cannot.
He can only do what you have told the AI, but he
वो
cannot.
robot
Master,
बनेगा.
So if I write my experience and give it as an input to AI, he will not have to put a finger, but he will learn that okay, putting a finger gives a shock.
Correct.
No. He will learn that when Abhishek put his finger, he got a shock.
That's your experience.
Exactly. See, an AI cannot learn the way you think a human learns, right?
It's suppose the learning or the teaching is that when you put the finger in the plug point, it gives you a shock. That's generalized,
It's a fact.
not only Abhishek. And then that can be a kind of a boundary for the AI, right, Shreyas? In the sense, that could be the base with which the AI gets built up. That means I can't put the finger there.
It can be a guardrail. It can be a guardrail, but think about it.
Guardrail.
Think about it a little deeper, right? Because that is what AI will require at some point, right? You remember what you felt when you put your finger in the plug point, right? The most you can do is put it in words. Right? The AI will only repeat the words that you said, or reorder the words and say it to somebody else. The AI will not intrinsically understand what is the meaning of putting my finger in a plug point.
And what you're telling is it could be a guardrail. Whatever we could be some kind of boundaries with which it works. Yeah, absolutely. I think
What
Abhishek,
looks like robots, if the robots and sir, one last point, if the robots and AI are combined together, AI has that learnings through experiences, whatever world, and robot can execute things physically. So a mix of them can do the operational things in future. That looks very clear.
But I don't think that will be the case. Looking at applications of
That's
AI
a good
that are
news.
occurring.
That it doesn't happen that way.
No,
because
see, AI, the AI is like I said, the AI is like a parrot. It will only repeat what you tell it.
Now,
It will reorder it.
for now, it is a parrot. But after 10, 20 years, when it is combined with a robot, it can fly also. The same parrot can fly. Same parrot can do
if you
some
teach it to fly,
activity,
it will
pluck the
fly.
fruit.
No, if you teach it
Yeah.
to fly, it will fly. But it cannot on its own learn
Discover
from
flight.
crawling to
Exactly.
flying.
Decision making to some extent is true. Like nowadays, we are talking about law firms getting automized. So for any basic need, if you want to affidavit, you can go to a AI model and tell the background, and then he can give you an affidavit
Correct.
in line
Definitely
with
correct.
the legal requirements of India law.
In line
But-
with the notation. In
But
line
why
with
is
the
that
notation
possible?
done.
Consider this now. Why is that possible? Why is AI excelling at law? Because law is a very technical, very well-defined, very
Rational.
particular document.
But the
Right?
decisions taken in the courts are made by humans on the same technical laws.
No,
No,
the AI is also not taking a decision. No, the AI is just replicating what it learned as the law.
But the
That's a
decisions
very-
what court takes, it takes a reference from the old decisions what court has taken.
And this is
It's
again
not
a very
about a
interesting.
plus 1 plus 1 equal to 2.
No, this is again a very interesting realm, Abhishek, because in the courts, many a times the decisions are not taken 100% in accordance with what is written in the law. The law
Exactly,
can be
that's the point.
interpreted, and that interpretation gray zone which you have got is something which a human exploits. And for the robo or for the AI, whatever you have written, that can mean one in that condition. It cannot have multiple interpretations of the same text. It can understand it in different ways, but the outcome will be the same. I don't think AI engine can give you a particular affidavit in a way that the law is circumvented and you have found a loophole in some other law. Based on that, affidavit is prepared. That competence, I don't think the AI will ever have. Is my opinion. Shreyas, you want to add anything?
Absolutely. And I am absolutely averse to the opinion. I think that is where the AI will succeed. See, any task that is well defined, any data that is well defined, AI will succeed at it because it remembers absolute intricacies. The human mind does not have the ability to remember absolute intricacies. Only people with savant syndrome have the ability to do that because they have an idyllic memory. In the sense, they remember everything that they have seen for the rest of their life. Right?
Yeah.
There is a
Okay.
reason
So
for
thanks a
that.
lot. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really
one question I
very,
have, Dinakar sir, one
yeah.
short question.
Yeah.
Shreyaji, I have one question. Wonderfully, you have been explaining something beyond my understanding. What is a good age for children to learn what you are teaching today? Because most of our children practically are busy with iPads or with mobiles. So this being an interesting subject, how that can be curated to suit their knowledge enriching.
Let me just rejoin with my mobile. My laptop is acting up very badly. Dinkarji, could you please allow me in?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Please.
I feel like it is a career counseling session for us, for our next
Yeah,
generation.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, Shreyas, go on. Where did he go? He joined.
Artificial intelligence का मिल जाएंगे अभी.
Am I audible? Am I
Yeah,
audible?
very much.
Yes. Yeah.
See, there is no particular age to learn what is AI and how AI works. There are no dangers to conversing with AI. Please understand that. There is only one danger with AI, which is you spoke to it, it gave you a solution, you implemented it without understanding it. That is your loss. That is the only danger with AI because AI renders knowledge valueless.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say the earlier children interact with AI, the better it is for them. Only thing is they should be very well made aware of the fact that you just do not copy paste whatever AI tells you because you have to understand it. If you don't understand it, there is no point using the AI. That is the edge that humans have. Now humans can understand. AI can't understand. AI is a parrot.
Correct.
Correct.
Anyway, so thanks a lot for a wow, enriching, inspiring, and then educational session, a master class, I would say. Shreyas, whatever you spoke to took me back to early 90s when I was in Brazil. There we had a chief minister, right? Like in India, the politicians are always making news. So this guy, in one of the evening events which he had come to our factory, said something which keeps ringing in my head quite often. He said that, look, there is a very simple difference between humans and animals. We are also animals. We are also animals because all are part of zoology, and that was his statement. Okay, in Portuguese. The only difference is humans know that they know, whereas animals don't know that they know.
No, they know.
No, animals don't know that they know. Humans know that they know. Humans can imagine. Humans can build a castle without the castle being there. That's the power of imagination. And that's the only difference is what he said. And that imagination today is a big disaster if you look at many of our lives, because of the imaginary problems which may have, imaginary conditions which may have. We are into a stressful situation, get into diabetes, blood pressure, whatnot, all kinds of situations. So that ability to know that we know, I don't think a robo will ever have, or the AI will ever have. To know that I know, it's they know that, yes, they know it, they'll repeat it, they'll perform the way they are told, but to know that they know will be difficult. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Shreyas.
No,
It was really
no
wonderful.
diabetes. No diabetes, blood pressure for robots. Robots.
And Amarji, you can please tell us your final word and then we close. Over to you, Amarji.
Thank you, Dinkarji. Great. Back to after a couple of weeks leave I had from these wonderful sessions. Shreyas, what can I say about you? Like, there's one whom I always think about is Shreyas Iyer, who bats so well. I was just looking at the batting style of Shreyas today, and Shreyas the other way talking also. I should call him the Dronacharya of this subject. So knowledgeable you are at this age. I think so. It's I cannot have little words to say because this GenAI, which you say AI or GenAI, whatever you call it, has taken the world by storm. And still, there are ways and means and applications in different avenues of trade, services, industries is taking place. The focus area of development as we grow, this will take a big leap. And I'm sure with people like you leading from the front, a lot to learn from you. And I would definitely be your eklavya to learn something from you. And we, all of us in this group, definitely would like to have one more session to understand how we could do better in life by learning all this. Because this is one thing that many people don't know. We talk, we see. Industries working on artificial intelligence. I have heard much about it. I've seen also now. But it takes me a lot of time to understand where future is going. The future is going to be this, as you say, disrupting many things and correcting so many things for better. So in process, I wish you all the best for sharing your wonderful thoughts today with all of us. Every section had every question you had to answer was so perfect with your knowledge. And at this young age, I must tell you, you're a genius and a true Dronacharya for us. All the best to you, Shreyas.
Thank you so very much.
So much, Chamarji. Thank you so much. All of
Where
you
are you
who
put
are
up?
there
Where
on
are
the
you?
call, would you
Shreyas,
like
where are
to
you?
put your camera?
Yeah, Shreyas, where are you put up?
I am put up in Bangalore at the moment.
Good.
Yeah,
You
so
said
just
Baroda?
Vadodara.
I know Baroda, sir. Surat, Ahmedabad ke aage. Kem cho?
Yeah.
Maja
Kem cho,
sir.
kem cho. Thank you.
My-
Thank you so
my
much.
da-
Thank you so much. And
My,
see you all.
my daughter is there in Ahmedabad. See you, sir.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
you. All the
Bye.
best.
Thank you. Bye.